Next one is eating every 2 to 3 hours to boost the metabolism or stoke the metabolic fire, if you will, which was quite a popular sort of term that was coined by bodybuilders. What we often see is people forcing snacks despite not being hungry, just to keep the metabolism alive, right? You got to keep it like a fire. And this is really interesting. It's like, I don't know if you guys have gone camping or ever been on a fire, around a fire. And, obviously as the fire starts to die down, or you don't want the fire to die down, so you're constantly adding little bits of wood, little twigs, and that sort of stuff to keep the fire alive. And so the thought was that the more you continue to eat, right, smaller meals throughout the day or snacking throughout the day, you're keeping your body expending energy because it's constantly having to digest food, right? But lo and behold, we have an obesity, situation in the world today. And I don't think that all the food that all these people are eating is making them expend more calories. There's no metabolic fire keeping them healthy.
Yes, and I think with the like a lot of the fitness stuff which we see today, right, comes from old bodybuilding practices, right? Because bodybuilding back in the 70s, 80s, and onwards was like the main source of fitness information. It's what everyone should do. And so if you're, I don't know, an 100 kilo bodybuilder, right, for you to have 6 meals a day, that makes sense because you need to get that amount of volume in order to, grow the muscle that you want. And so for people who have lives and jobs and this kind of stuff, we've seen it a lot where trainers may say, okay, you need to eat 5 times a day, and it's just totally unrealistic for people who are living a normal life, right? And so a lot of the time, and I just sort of had a call with a lady called Danya, who I think is on a call as well now, but it sort of goes to the point that what works for you or what is sustainable for you is going to be the best thing for you to do, right? If you can only manage 2 meals a day and a snack, great. There's no point trying to force yourself to think, oh my God, how am I going to get 5 meals a day, 6 meals a day, spend the night in the kitchen, prep your meals for the next 3 days, and then within a week you've fallen off and you failed. So again, it's like what is going to be the most impactful thing for you at this moment in time, and then how can you look to build on that progressively, or sustain that as a habit and a practice, because that is the thing that is going to see the long-term success in all of this.
Yeah, and it's interesting you say that, Pete. There was someone that I don't remember who it was, but having a conversation with her earlier today or the day before yesterday around how there's a lot of very consistent snacking, right, in the food journal. So food comes in, and then an hour later there's something else, an hour later something else, an hour later something else. And upon kind of asking questions, right, you start to realize that this person was used to having worked with a dietitian who was, encouraging them to eat 5, 6 meals a day. And so now that's a habit for this person, right, where they're so used to consistently, eating, these small meals throughout the day. When in reality, what we actually want to focus on is that as case in point here, this is why this is a myth, that meal frequency has little to no impact on metabolism, right? When calories are equal. We want to constant eating can increase your total calorie intake unintentionally, right? Because then you're constantly eating food and you actually don't realize that the calories add up. And often it's snacking and not whole meals, and the snacks are calorie dense, right? So the solution is we want to make sure that we choose a frequency that suits your lifestyle, like Pete said, prioritizing total daily intake, right, and adherence. And your individual goals and individual schedule is what's most important to you because that's what you can stick to. So, everyone has their targets, whether it's 4 or 3 protein servings, fruits and vegetables as well. Rather stick to those and focus on that rather than, oh, I should snack, oh, I have to snack, I need to do that. And that sort of approach.
Yeah, and it's I mean, I think I've had this conversation about 5 times this week already, and it's always down to the cravings in the evening, right? These are things I just can't help, and I feel like I need this and this. And you then look at the food journal, and there's two sort of routes that come into play, right? And the best way to attack a craving is to kind of not let it happen in the first place. And two routes here. The individual doesn't eat or eats very, very little during the day. And then by the time they get home, 7, 8, 9 o'clock, they are like ravished, right? They're so hungry, cravings through the roof. the body is sending signals like feed me, feed me, feed me, and then it's always high calorie, high fat, high sugar type things, understandably, right? Because the body needs something, and so you can't fight against, the body's signals a lot of the time. Or the other option, which is kind of, or the other route which we see a lot of is, this kind of grazing through the day. So never actually reaching a level of like fullness, but instead like maybe having a croissant for breakfast, maybe then a yogurt for lunch, maybe then a mid-afternoon someone's brought a cake into work and you have a slice of cake. And so even though you've been eating during the day, you sort of have really never been reached that level of fullness, right? You've never been sufficiently fueled and nourished with whole foods, slower to digest foods that are going to really fill you up. So that again, in the evening, the cravings kick in because you've only just been serving kind of small, like rabbit food type portions, which then again, your body is going to be like, I need something substantial. And that is where then I don't know, the burger and fries comes in at 10 o'clock on a hunger station order from chefs.
Yeah,
As
I
good
mean,
as it is, as good as it is.
not knocking the burger. Yeah,
Mm,
I've seen, and I'm sure you guys have seen this, right? This like comparison type picture where you've got 1,500 or 2,000 calories from snacks, and then 2,000 calories from whole food. The 2,000 calories from whole food looks like food you like, a 100 kg man would really struggle to get through, right? Whereas, 2,000 calories of just snacks, you've got, big frappuccino from Starbucks, a Kit Kat and a croissant, and you've hit your 2,000 calories, right? And yet you're not full. So like Pete is saying, like you end up grazing and you have this, have that, have this, and then by the end of the day, it actually adds up all those total calories.
And so this is why like having a routine, having a structure, even though it may be a little bit boring or routine, is so useful when you are focusing on reaching a goal because you need those kind of guardrails in place of what you can do. Own your breakfast, own a lunch, own sort of a snack or small dinner in the evening, whatever it is that works for you and your schedule and your family situation and the housekeeper or whatever. Make it a routine because then as soon as you build that routine of predictability, you can then start tweaking and changing after seeing, the progress come through rather than just grazing one day, 3 meals the next day, nothing till dinner, 1 meal a day. And that is there where things get confusing and quite frustrating, I think, for yourself as well.